Hello, and welcome back to our weekly discussion of our mission in this world as mankind in general and as Jews in particular, as we learn from the 5 books of Moses, the Torah. This week, we'll be discussing another section from the book of Devarim, the book of Deuteronomy. In this 6th section of the book of Devarim, we're continuing with Moses' farewell address to the Jewish people. Moses is reviewing many laws about when the Jewish people go out to war and other such things. There's a general sense of the Jews maintaining their sanctity as part of this mission, and that's what we'll be discussing today. So, starting out in the beginning, then, is there a sanctity to how we acquire things? In the sense of the context of war, it says here, when you go out to war against your enemies, it's talking about if you were to find a maiden and you capture her, and maybe you think you want to make her your wife. So the Torah instructs us in this case that you can't just do that automatically. You actually have to go through a fairly long process. You have to bring her into your home, shave off her hair, let her nails grow. In a sense, you kind of let her become physically unattractive. So what's the take-home message from this? What we could say from this is what the Torah is telling us is it's not forbidding that absorbing any positive attributes of the world around us, but when it comes to our own sanctity, we should be very vigilant. We need to look beneath the shiny, attractive exterior and really go for the substantive parts. It's kind of like the discussions we've had before about the Jewish idea of really not being in favor of grandiose houses of worship because they could be a distraction. So what else might we be cautious about? What about building? How can building something be an item in which we need to be careful of sanctity? So in this verse here, it says, you're going to build a new house, and on that house, you're going to build a fence around the rooftop. So obviously, this has some practical applications, so somebody doesn't get hurt. If they're on the roof, they don't fall off. There is also a theme about which we've spoken before, that as Jews, we are directly responsible for any blood that's spilled in the land of Israel. So, of course, we want to prevent that blood so-called be on our hands, which clearly would impact our own level of sanctity. The Rav also brings the point that this can be understood metaphorically, not only in the physical sense, but spiritually as well, that we build fences around our thought processes to avoid being exposed to things that would not be conducive to the right kind of spiritual behavior that would help us accomplish our mission. Okay, so we've talked about acquisition, we've talked about building. Let's talk about how we think about things, our own memories, and maybe even destruction itself. Is there a such thing as a sanctified destruction? So here, toward the later chapter, in chapter 25, it's talking about Amalek, and you'll remember that Amalek was a people, the Amalekites, who came out with no provocation at all and attacked the Jews as they were leaving Mitzrayim, as they were leaving Egypt. Why? They had no reason to be fearful of them. They just did it without them. So what we're told here is Timecha et Zacher Amalek Tichas Hashemayim. You should just forget about Amalek. And in previous commandments around this, we've actually been told to destroy Amalek. And so what really is Amalek? We don't know who Amalek is anymore necessarily. So what the Rav comes to explain then is that Amalek is every man who loses control of his own spirituality and sort of goes berserk and starts acting in a very non-spiritual, non-sanctified way. And we have to guard up against this within ourselves, make sure that we are not so-called going berserk, and make sure that our own actions are sanctified and our own thought processes, our own memories are sanctified so that we can accomplish the mission for which we have been sent here. So in summary then, our mission is to protect our own sanctity. And this is not just in a passive way. We also need to take a very active role in when we're acquiring things, when we're building things, and sometimes even in the case of destruction when necessary. So I hope you've enjoyed the discussion. If you do, please like below, please subscribe, please forward. Besoros Tovos, and a Shabbat Shalom.